It is time for the Big Ten to do what is right, and Indiana gets to brag this week. We're all excited for that.
You're talking ball with the Big Ten Squad, sponsored by Game Time. From USC to Ohio State, from Michigan to Oregon, from Nebraska to Washington, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big Ten weekend. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big Ten Squad.
Yes, I did forget to mention that Oregon plays Penn State this week. That's going to be fun. We'll pick that game on the Big Ten Squad and much more. So sit back, relax, and get ready. Zach Anderson-Yoxheimer, freshly shaven of Locked On UCLA, is here. Ryan Herring's Locked On Badgers. Zach Sako, Locked On Nittany Lions. Jacob Goins, Locked On Hoosiers. I'm Spencer McLaughlin, neutral arbiter of all things college football. Of course, we're starting with what feels like an off-season topic, but after watching the season play out to this point, guys, it is absolutely relevant and needs to be brought up that the Big Ten is now the only Power 4 conference that doesn't mandate a Power 4 non-conference game. Everybody's up to 9 games, including the SEC and the ACC. I guess bullying works in the public space. Is that our takeaway? That's kind of how it looks. But, Zach, I think the Big Ten needs to hunker down. And apparently there haven't even been talks about this. I think that's horrible for the sport. I think the Big Ten needs to make a change.
Yeah, I mean, it's Michigan's fault that UCLA had to play an FCS game in the first place because they pulled out of that series. It was too late. UCLA had to go play a couple of FCS games. So it's all the Big Ten's fault. They all want to do a couple cupcakes. They worked into a couple of national championships from Michigan, and then all of a sudden you mix it in with what Ohio State's done. You're like, it's a tried and true formula, and it's like, no, let's have – I like your formula, Spencer. Have a big game, a group of 5 game. Maybe you get your cupcake. Maybe you're a real team and you want to play more than one tough opponent in a non-conference schedule. That's what should happen.
Yeah, I agree. Roman Tomashoff of Locked On Huskies has entered the chat. Speaking of weak non-conference slates, Roman.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Hold on. I don't feel like we should do that after, the last time we had this discussion. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, some strategic maneuvering could lead us to stay on the train tracks here, but your timing is most opportune. Do you think the Big Ten should mandate every team play a Power 4 non-conference opponent? I do.
I'd certainly like to see it. I don't think that that's necessarily, in terms of the grand scheme of college football. I don't know if that's the most important thing right now. It's nice to see, the playoffs staying at 12 teams. I think that that's something that is a little more important, in my opinion, at least right now. Is that something that should be mandated? Yeah, for sure. But I don't know if that should necessarily be everyone's priority one right now.
Ryan, for Wisconsin, should they mandate in Madison that you never play Alabama again?
Yeah, I was going to say, for the teams that have been playing tough out of conference games, can we bank a few, FCS teams?
Yeah, can you stash them and cash them in?
Can we maybe in a couple of years mandate this so a couple programs can get back on the horse and ride a little bit here? I think it's better for college football if you're playing tough out of conference games. You're playing a real Power 4 team. I think that's good for the sport. And all I've ever said, and I've said this consistently, is I want consistency in scheduling across the major conferences. That's all I've wanted. I picked on Indiana a little bit for their non-conference, but not because they're doing anything that isn't smart. I actually think it's smart until teams start to consistently schedule the same way. So as long as it's consistent, other conferences have gone to this. I love it. So next year, Wisconsin plays Notre Dame. They play Pitt. These are fun matchups, and these are good for the sport. The fans like them. I'm all for it. As long as other conferences are as well, which they are now, 100% engaged.
Ryan, I don't think you're picking on Indiana enough. I think the answer is always pick on Indiana more. Show of hands, who thinks we should pick on Indiana more?
How'd it go for you last week, Spencer?
That is,
yeah,
that was only 3. That was only 3-3. Seiko, you let me down there, buddy. Come on.
Seiko's on my side.
Needed you.
They won 63-10.
Well, yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna.
They have every right to the non-conference schedule, and I'm gonna be the exact same way if Penn State pulls off the same thing here if they beat Oregon after a true cupcake non-conference schedule.
But that's not as much fun. It's not as good for the sport. I don't think it's as good for the
Indiana
conference
had
either.
a ton of fun last week.
Winning is a lot of fun.
And you were snoozing through the first 3 weeks.
Who cares? We're here now, baby. I didn't like it either, but Indiana proved they can be a good team regardless. So don't know. In this conversation, though, I'm with you. I think mandating that extra P4 game is important. Roman mentioned the playoff being at 12 teams. I think that's clearly going to change. I think we've all just accepted that in the back of our heads that it's going to expand at some point. And as crazy as it sounds, that might be necessary, right? If you're demanding a conference play 9 games in conference plus another game against a tough opponent, that's a lot to ask to go undefeated, only 1 loss, 2 if it's in the right way, if you still want to be a playoff team. So I could see the playoff expanding for that reason alone.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I have to admit that Goins just made a bunch of reasonable points. You know how much I hate doing that. Seiko, do you want to weigh in on what Penn State got away with this year and might continue to get away with in the future?
I mean, they play Syracuse in a couple of years, and Temple.
Okay, see, that's all I want.
So
that's all I want.
Yeah, they want.
I didn't mean to laugh. My bad.
And COVID actually messed a lot of things up. So Penn State is catching a lot of flack. They're not going the Indiana route where they are intentionally canceling major out of conference matchups. They were supposed to play Virginia Tech, and then COVID and everything else reshuffled that, and Virginia Tech didn't want to reciprocate or reschedule or anything. The Nevada game was planned in 2018. So is Penn State supposed to just not honor certain commitments? Indiana says, heck no, we don't have to do that. But Penn State is honoring the commitments for games that they made 7-8 years ago. So they're just kind of caught in the middle of that debate. Here's what I do want to say, because I could echo everybody else and say, yeah, non-conference Power 4 game is important. The reason a lot of teams do these cupcake games is because it's a way to bankroll the other programs that are going to get left behind as college football continues to move forward, right? As it consolidates. So these are large sums of money that fund athletic departments for these smaller schools. I don't mean to be that guy, but that's who this hurts at the end of the day. You are going to see more programs in general get cut because, we need to have more non-conference Power 4 games. Okay, yes, that's true because it's entertaining. But just so you know, it's going to come at the cost of scholarships and someone's ability to play Division I sports at a smaller school.
I would never advocate for the total and complete elimination of bye games for the reasons that you talk about. I just think that it's pretty easy to have 2 of them, one to a group of 5, one for an FCS, and have a Power 4 opponent in there. And I think there's still enough money to make the world go round. By the way, Yoxheimer, I'd just like to point out in this conversation that for UCLA going forward, New Mexico does not count as a Power 4 non-conference opponent. Can we agree on that?
Hey, let me say they had 2 SEC games. UCLA in the schedule got rid of them to bring on Utah and Cal. So I think Utah is a much tougher addition than getting rid of Auburn on the schedule. But playing New Mexico and getting beat down and UNLV, and that's where you're 0-3. That's embarrassing as it gets. So we'll see if they're relegated to the Pac-12.
How's the coaching search?
Yeah, it's been entertaining for me so far. We'll see what they should do and what actually happens might be 2 different things.
That sounds like the story of UCLA football.
What's going on with this segment of keeping up with the Amaliabas?
I would say maybe you'll hear linking towards Miami and Texas Tech potentially next year.
Ooh.
Miami, I tell you what, I'm selfishly rooting for that now. I might make a lot of money if that rumor begins.
Just began.
Yeah. There we
Spencer,
go.
I do have one thing to add on here because I come in here and I'm viciously attacked for a non-conference slate when it's certainly not the worst one in this squad by far. Washington actually was supposed to play Ohio State this year in a non-conference game, and then after conference realignment, the home and home from last year and this year obviously shifted and became conference play.
So we just hate Michigan and Ohio State. We just hate them because they ruin our schedules. Forget them.
Yeah, let's get them out of the Big Ten. They're dragging everybody down.
I mean, are they even real Big Ten members?
UCLA is trying to bring the league up, and it's just being dragged down with these cinder blocks on their feet.
Yeah, if they're not here to represent, they don't get to be in the Big Ten. That's how I feel about it.
I could not agree more. Jacob Goins is going to enjoy our next segment very much. Indiana, oh boy, some of us were mildly incorrect on the Hoosiers. First, this episode brought to you by our friends at DoorDash. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. I have to start with Fernando Mendoza. Got to give the guy credit. I would say I wasn't that high on him coming into the year, and he's currently the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. And I don't think he knows what an incomplete pass is. The Illinois defense certainly doesn't, and he threw 5 touchdowns, and Illinois was defeated 63-10. So he delivered for Indiana in a big way, just like DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday that you order, stack it up all season. You can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. This episode also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. All the games we talk about every week on the show. We're going to get to Oregon, Penn State. We're going to talk about Indiana's next game against Iowa. They're a 7.5-point favorite. If you wanted to bet that, because you think you know what's going to happen even more than some of us, which for me personally, that's actually not that hard, it turns out, you can go bet it over at FanDuel because the point spreads are there. You've got the point totals. You have got the money lines. You've got prop bets. Everything that you could want for college football, FanDuel's got it, and the NFL too. And you can bet just $5 right now. And new customers, if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Pretty sweet deal. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Check them out at FanDuel.com. Rolling along here in the Big Ten squad. All right, Jacob, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting all week for this, and the fact that Trent's not here, Sonny's not here. I mean, what? This should have been like a company-wide requirement for everybody to be here on this week's Locked On Big Ten squad. I need everybody. I need everybody who was wrong about Indiana to just politely apologize. I need it. For the soul, I need it, but really just for my ego, I need it too. So, Spencer, I would love to start with you, my friend.
I'm sorry.
No, that's not very good.
No. That was not.
I'm sorry I doubted you against Illinois.
Hey, you did. Next, Zach, were you on my side? I
wasn't here, but I can definitely say I probably would have doubted. So I'm going to apologize for something I didn't do.
I appreciate the honesty.
Zach is used to different sorts of apologies. It comes in the form of, I have to talk about this UCLA football team, and I'm sorry for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I took a weekend off of college football.
I don't blame you. I'd take a month off if I were UCLA. Look, I'm not going to make everybody apologize. I do think it is fascinating.
Oh, so it was just me?
And me.
I picked Indiana.
What did we do?
I picked Indiana last week. I gotta make sure that's out there.
You did, Roman. Thank you.
You're
Roman.
welcome.
You believed, because I believe in Washington and you believe in Indiana, and that's how this whole connection works.
And Herrings believes it's basketball season.
Boom, baby.
I was wrong. That was the name of a show I did recently about football. So I
love it. Thank you.
You know what I love about Indiana fans is just how classy they all are. Right? Just how classy they all are in winning.
You want me to show you a DM? I got some evidence to the contrary, man.
Leak the DMs.
I just love the classiness of winners expecting to win. They're very Barry Sanders in that sense, right? They get the touchdown, hand the ball to the ref. Like Indiana knows they've been here before. They act like it. It's really my favorite part about the Hoosier fan.
Thank you. No, I do want to propose this, and Spencer and I talked about this earlier on a crossover. Were people wrong about Illinois and maybe not, or them not being that good, or was it wrong about Indiana in the inevitable step back that was bound to happen, right? I think that's a legitimate question to propose here.
Yeah, I think let's throw it around. I think it's more about Indiana being good, and they had a great day, but let's go around the horn style. Yoxheimer, you start us off.
I would say that Indiana is probably better than expected, right? You think last year, all right, that was a fluke. Well, Indiana proved it's not a fluke. Regardless of Illinois' top 10 good, Indiana proved that if you beat somebody by 50 points in a Big Ten game, yeah, that's legit.
Ryan?
Yeah, that's well said. Here's the thing. There was a point in that game, the Indiana-Illinois game, where in the second quarter, Indiana had an ESPN win probability of 98.4% in the second quarter. You don't just go
Yikes.
in and drop 50 points on a good – like, Illinois is solid. That's a team that won 10 games last year. It's a veteran quarterback. Bielema knows the Big Ten. He's iconoclastic and be able to kind of compete in these type of games, and they just mopped them up. So, listen, there's a chance Indiana's a wagon, and I don't know if the country's ready for that, but I think it's about Indiana.
What was that word you said?
A wagon.
No, not that. I wasn't making fun of the accent. That's expected. No, the other one.
Iconoclastic? That means like he really understands Big Ten football. He's
Someone check him for the Sports Center PEDs. That is a thesaurus.
I was going
He's
to say,
coming in here.
did you not know what that word was? I was about to have like a whole other string of questions directed at you.
perfect.
Me?
No, yeah, because when you were like, "What was that word?" I thought
Okay.
you legitimately did not know what that meant for a
I
second.
thought you were talking bad about the wagon accent. I
thought you
was
were-
like, wow. I was like, wow, that's pretty bad. That's pretty low.
In Wisconsin, we play tag. You go get the shopping bag. It's a wagon. I thought that's where you were going with it as well.
No, it's not. I wasn't going to go down that particular rabbit hole. That can too easily lead to a suspension and discussion from HR, which apparently we have here at the
That's
network.
the compliance training.
Or so yeah, that's the then I'd have to go to mandatory training about that. But Roman, you may now opine on the matter.
Oh, thank you. Can it be both? Because I think we can, at the same time, both underestimate Indiana and maybe overrate Illinois a little bit. We've spent a lot of this offseason talking about, oh, Illinois got all these returning guys. It's going to translate to this, and that. You still do have to go out there and prove it on the field to a certain extent. And I've been one of the lower guys on this show on Illinois throughout the summer. I also admit I was the low man on Fernando Mendoza, and I said that Kurt Cignetti would, really have to prove himself to make sure that he would show that he could be one of the top quarterbacks in the Big Ten. And for that, Jacob, I'm sorry. And I was wrong, but I feel like this can say a little bit about both teams.
Seiko, is Illinois bad or is Indiana really good?
Well, I do think that Indiana got really amped up for this game. That's one, and they had a lot of steam to blow off from playing a cupcake non-conference schedule. I do believe that kind of fact, like
A
that
sugar
helped
rush?
them. In some sort of sense. Illinois also, every time I would peek into social media or Sonny would pop up on my feed and everything, and I'd see injury, key player missing, guy, and then you're watching the game, guys ejected for targeting. I agree with Roman, actually, that Illinois overrated, Indiana contending for a Big Ten title. Like, I would put Indiana in the group with Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. It's going to be two of those four teams making it to the Big Ten championship. But I think Illinois just got caught in a bad spot there. But at some point, hey, it is Brett Bielema. You did return as much talent as you did. Should it have really been 63-10? You're missing some key players. Okay, maybe that's, the spread gets covered, another touchdown or something, and it's a decisive victory. Not 63-10. So if I have to side with one definitively, I'm going to say Illinois extremely overrated.
Goins, you know what I'm going to ask you, is Malik Washington just the best quarterback in the Big Ten?
He has looked pretty good. I will give him credit. But
I'm sorry, Ryan. I am mean.
yeah, Ryan, do you want to answer that? Because
I was actually really happy internally, literally 2 seconds ago, because I'm like, they're just going to talk about Illinois looking bad. I can escape here.
Free grandma.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Malik deserves his credit. Now, he'll get humbled very quickly, but, he looked fine. But, Spencer, you said it earlier, and I do want to repeat it. As of this moment, Fernando Mendoza is the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Indiana has the 15th best odds to win the national title and the 4th best odds out of the Big Ten to make it to the college football playoff. And there's a lot of games to be played. I'm not denying that at all, including this week against Iowa, which I know we're going to pick in a moment, and I'm sure everybody will pick Indiana because that's how that'll work. You have a game against Iowa. You still got to go to Penn State. You still got to go to Oregon, and you still have to handle those teams like Wisconsin and UCLA and Maryland that are on your schedule. You still got to beat those teams no matter how good or bad you think they are, but Indiana is legit, and you better be ready for it.
Let it be known, Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers does not deny facts here on the show. You made it like a big statement of not denying there's still a lot of football to be played. Like, well,
it's true. You still got to win your games.
Yep.
But Indiana bought themselves a lot of breathing room. Maybe not a lot, but some breathing room by beating Illinois, meaning you
pretty
could
good amount.
split Penn State or Oregon, and you're absolutely in the college football playoff.
Yeah, you could probably lose both of those games and still get into the college football playoff. All right, Ryan, we're going to wrap this segment and then get to our Week 5 game picks. What in the world happened on Saturday?
I don't know. I was there. Dude, we had 2 block
That puts
kicks.
you and Luke Fickle in the same camp.
I'll say this. Injury. There's a lot of injuries on offense, but you had 2 block kicks in the first half. Maryland went into Madison and just kicked the crap out of us. And it was a late garbage touchdown from Wisconsin that made it 27-10. The score was not as close as that. Maryland went into Madison and called off the Dogs. This was a Wisconsin team that was a 10-point favorite that really, quite frankly, needed this game because now the gauntlet starts. The stretch of Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, Oregon is next for Wisconsin, and they just got throttled by Maryland. So I don't have a good answer. I know people are very frustrated. People are very upset. And I did think we could talk basketball schedule release today. I think that was part of the reason I came here. So I'm not sure what we're still doing talking pigskin, but yeah, it's not a fun time in Madison. I'll say that.
You're going
Welcome
to have
to the
to
land
endure.
of misery. Welcome to misery.
Yeah, you're going to have to endure because we've got to make our picks for Week 5 in the Big Ten. Who wins? Penn State and Oregon and more still to come on this week's Big Ten Squad. First, this episode brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda's moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. And the moment that moved the game forward is that beautiful long rainbow from Malik Washington against Wisconsin. It was I'd say it was a crowd silencer, except the crowd was already pretty quiet at that point because they realized what was unfolding in front of them. Badgers just taking a bunch of strays on today's show. But if the shoe fits, and unfortunately for Luke Fickle's team, it does, no matter what Barry Alvarez says, Malik Washington delivered a big-time win for Maryland this week. They're undefeated. Just get used to that. Maryland is undefeated right now. I don't know how long that's going to last, but he looks pretty darn good, and he moved Maryland forward, literally and metaphorically this week. And when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. Just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, guys, let's get to Week 5 picks here in the Big Ten. We'll get the biggest one last. That's Oregon and Penn State. But team we were talking about in the second segment, USC, Illinois. Zach, rapid fire thoughts. Who are you taking?
Ooh, this is a first, I think, true test for USC on the road. I think after the letdown for Illinois, we're going to see what they're made of as a team. I'm going to lean USC, but I could be completely wrong on that one.
Ryan.
Yeah, give me Illinois at home. Actually, an early game. It's going to be like a 9 a.m. start body wise for USC. It's a big trip. I think Illinois bounces back.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Roman.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat here where, we at Washington had to see several of those 9 a.m. start times last year. They certainly aren't easy for the West Coast teams, but yeah, Illinois to bounce back.
Seiko.
Illinois, if they coach this game to a T, can pull it off. I don't think enough people are giving USC credit as a dark horse, playoff contender. They could sneak in as a top at one of those at-large spots. So I will go with USC because I think they've improved the coaching staff enough and have accumulated enough talent to overcome a situation like this.
Goins, you take the Trojans or the Illini at home?
I like the Illini to keep it close, but I'm going to take USC to win. But I don't like a 6.5 point spread. Illinois is going to give them everything they want, but I'll take USC to get it done.
Speaking of 6.5 point spread, Yoxheimer, you know where I'm going with this? Did you guys know that UCLA is a 6.5 point dog to Northwestern this week?
Should be 10.
Might be one of my favorite bets of the week. Northwestern minus 6.5. Please and thank you. Zach, go ahead and tell me I'm wrong.
I think you might have me sending a clip of dumping a bucket of cold water on my head because I said in the summer I'd do that when we went over win totals, and I think that might be the case. If UCLA is to get a win, this is a golden opportunity. Otherwise, you might see a big goose egg to that number this year. So this is the one they have to get.
Bruins or the Wildcats, Ryan?
It just reminds me of a classic Big Ten West battle. Like Wisconsin, Iowa, 17-9, take the under. I don't know. Give me Northwestern at home, take the under. It feels like one of those old Big Ten West games that nobody's going to watch, but a lot of people will bet.
Roman?
I don't care enough to talk about this game. So I'm just gonna say Northwestern wins.
Look at Mark Culkin is here, everybody, live and in person.
Wow.
We
Wow.
have reincarnated him. He's right there. Right there. Seiko, go ahead and pick the game.
I said it. I threw it in there. I can't believe this isn't a double-digit spread. Northwestern is one of those feisty teams where they just want to go in there and scrap. They want to fight. Doesn't matter if it's Oregon. It doesn't matter if it's UCLA that is just struggling to get through to basketball season. They want to get into a fist fight. Northwestern by at least 2 touchdowns.
We'll do a hand raise here before we pick our final 2 big games. Rutgers at Minnesota. How many are on? I know Ryan's not going to be, but how many on the Gophers here?
I might have to.
This is really great audio. for all-
Whoa. Oh, 2 out of 6. Whoa. 4 of us like Rutgers to beat Minnesota on the road. How about that? I mean, Ryan's biased, of course. But game 1 of the big showdown in the Big Ten this week, Ohio State going to Washington. Really fun matchup in Seattle. Zach, who gets it done?
I don't know. Roman was making me mad, but I'm spicy enough to take Washington at home at Husky Stadium in this one.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh!
As a
Going
win.
for it.
As a
Ryan.
win.
Yeah, give me Ohio State to travel and take care of business. I do think they're just too talented. The 7.5 is interesting. I could see Ohio State by 7, maybe Washington covers, but I do have Ohio State winning that game.
Roman, are you gutsy? I know you're not. No, you're not.
Whoa.
You're not gutsy enough to call Washington upsetting Ohio State here, are you?
I mean, I feel like I can't win here because on Locked On College Football yesterday, I had 28-24 Ohio State. So if I flip-flop, then I'm a flip-flopper. And if I don't, then I have no guts. So, this sucks. I'm going to stick with my prediction, mainly because I'm a huge jinx. But this is going to be a closer game than some people think, even as this spread continues to drop day by day. And I think it's a lot of fun. One thing to watch out for, Tacario Davis, Washington star cornerback, is questionable for this game. From everything I've been told, it sounds like he's going to play. That matchup with Jeremiah Smith is something I've been looking forward to all summer. And then Damon Williams versus this Ohio State defense. It's going to be a really tough test, but I think the country is going to finally learn what kind of elite quarterback Damon Williams is.
Ohio State wins.
Damon Williams.
Yes, they'll learn that it's Damon, not Desmond or Demon
Please.
or anything else like that.
Demon is good. Demon is fine. Desmond, let's.
Yeah, Demon's kind of cool. Like Demon Williams. I that might have a negative connotation, but I don't think it
He
sounds
goes from Damon to Demon Williams when he puts.
Yeah,
it
he
on.
turns into Demon
you
Williams
go.
in the 4th quarter. Yeah, this is cool. I think Ohio State wins. I think Washington covers. Seiko, what say you?
I'm not going to fall for this again. All offseason was all Matt Patricia doesn't know how to coach ball or anything. This is easy for him. Are you kidding me? He gets to go up against a 19-year-old quarterback that has limited starting experience. If he was able to put Arch Manning and Texas's system into a box, I'm expecting the exact same thing against Washington. The only thing they have to worry about is the jet lag and playing a full 4 quarters. So I think Ohio State should win comfortably.
Goins?
I just want to make sure that I get my Northwestern pick in because I was skipped for that game. That's
Oh,
why.
crap.
And also,
My
I
bad.
don't know the last time Northwestern was favored by almost a touchdown against a P4 team. Somebody do some research and get back to me on that one. But I think Washington keeps it close. I think Ohio State's obviously really talented. Give me the Buckeyes to score late and break the hearts of Washington, but the Huskies are going to make a push for the playoff.
That sounded like a Desmond Howard pick, you know? That sounded like something you come up with the qualifier. They get it done late and get the win. Okay. All right. And you wanted to make the Northwestern pick? You taking the Wildcats there?
Yeah, absolutely. They're
yeah.
a good team.
Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing. We're on the edge of our
He made a
seat.
point to say I got skipped and still didn't make his pick.
Yeah. That's what I was confused about. It's like, I want to make sure I get this pick. And then you stop talking after talking about one game. All right. The game of the week in the Big Ten is the game of the week in all of college football. Oregon travels to Penn State. I'm calling the game, so no pick. Zach, go ahead.
I'm going Penn State at home.
Ryan.
Before the year, the one quick point I made was I thought Oregon, this actually set up well for them because they would actually play some real teams and be tested. And then it turns out Oklahoma State is not a real team. And it turns
Might be
out
worse than Penn State's non-conference schedule. Who knows?
I actually thought that they would be really kind of battle tested coming into this. And it turns out they've also played the equivalent of like FCS schools, and those coaches have now been fired. So
Only one of them's been fired, and another one's on the hot seat.
it's fair. I still kind of think Oregon's going to take care of business, but I'm not going to flip off my preseason pick. But it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see it. Give me Oregon, close game. I do think they go into Happy Valley and win the game.
Herrings is just brimming with confidence in the Ducks in that spot. Roman, you know what? I won't even qualify anything that I feel like you're about to say. Go ahead.
I was thinking about saying it. I don't have to. I have Penn State winning this game. I feel like this is going to be one of those just real tough road trips or it's not just a tough trip for Oregon. It's a tough trip for any team. This is going to be a really fun matchup, though.
You know from personal experience or something?
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Anybody but
Different
Ohio
team,
State.
Yeah. Seiko, you go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I don't know what the point spread is in this game, but I think it's
3.5.
Contest.
3.5.
3.5. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Goins, and then we'll let Seiko go last.
Look, I think Dante Moore has been really good. He has, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception on the year so far. I think he will have 2 in this game. I think Penn State gets after him, and I think Penn State handles it.
All right, it's one thing to pick Penn State, but to slander Dante Moore is not something that I will stand for on this particular program. In 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, that was then. He is a new man. Zach, you got him.
Just because he takes down the guy whose
respect.
defense doesn't have a mullet like the coach, I don't know.
Okay. Seiko, you get to go top left. The floor is yours. Penn State, Oregon. Your pick, good sir.
Ooh. Oh, wow, the solo shot and everything. But I will keep it brief here. I could monologue for 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to do that anyway on my channel. So I like Penn State in this one, and I'll give an exact score prediction. I think it's 31-27, and the difference is Jim Knowles. It's the Jim Knowles factor. The reason Oregon beat Penn State the last time, it's like, oh, well, you're playing Penn State again. You're not playing the same Penn State again for Oregon fans that are saying that. Tom Allen was the reason they lost that game. 45 points. Penn State's offense was there. They were in it. They were just playing from behind the whole time. So now that you have that equalizer and that advantage with Jim Knowles, it's enough to, I don't know about turnovers. Forcing turnovers but field position, getting pressure on Dante Moore with denied Dennis Sutton, Zariah Fisher against Oregon's offensive tackles, that's going to be key. And there are some good players that A.J. Harris and Zachy Wheatley are going to be able to win some of their matchups. Their play-by-play matchups against Kenyon Sadiq, against Decorian Moore, Malik Benson. Those are some exciting battles. It's enough, and Penn State has all the scheduling advantages, right? The cross-country trip, the whiteout, getting 2 weeks, getting a bye week and everything. What else do I need to say?
Yeah, we were about to pull out the violin there at the Oscars, but hey, it's all right. That's okay. My score prediction in that one is 34-29. Zach Anderson Yoxheimer, locked on UCLA. Ryan Herrings, locked on Badgers. Roman Tomashoff, locked on Huskies. Zach Seiko, locked on Nittany Lions. Ryan was wrong. He's got it. He's got it on the screen right over there. Seiko, great as always, loves Penn State. Jacob Goins, locked on Hoosiers. That's it for this week's Locked On Big Ten Squad. I'm Spencer McLaughlin from Locked On All Over the Place. We'll see you next time. And until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.